Namaste, welcome to Buddha's teaching. Today's topic is another analogy on how to cultivate our mind. Right? So, as we all know, Buddha's teaching is about the body, the physical body, and about our mind especially, because the mind runs our everyday life and our mind runs the world, right? So without the mind, there isn't anything. So the mind is the most important thing in our life. So how do we cultivate our mind? There are different approaches to it, of course. Okay, there are many paths to the top of the mountain, of course. So this is just another analogy to how we learn how to we cultivate our mind. So what is mind? As we all know, the mind has no form, right? If we ask anyone to show what is the mind, there isn't anything that we can show. So the mind has no form, but it's just that it's awareness, our consciousness that we know, right? We aware. So that's our mind, right? Okay. So the mind is our mind is part of nature. Okay, it's natural. We are born with this mind. So the mind is our mind is given to us by nature. Okay. So as we all know, nature is the combination of everything, right? You name it, it's everything is in nature, right? You have good, you have bad, you have unhappiness, you have sadness, you have joy, you have depression, you have glee, okay, you have jealousy, you have all that, right? Salty, sweet, bitter, tart, okay, sour, you name it, everything, all the kinds of taste in between, you name it, it's in nature, okay. So our mind is pretty much the same thing. The mind can be we can describe the mind of various people. Is everyone has their own mind, and everyone is in a way very unique because of the upbringing, the experiences that we all encounter. So all of our minds are in a way complicated, but there's the simple analogy that we can compare our mind to. Okay, so it's just like we grow a vegetable garden, right? If you are a gardener, you know pretty well, what a vegetable garden is, right? Let's say you grow uh, a, a, a bed of lettuce, a bed of cabbage, of celery, of carrot, of whatever. So you grow vegetable, right? Okay. So if you only just throw the seed onto the bed of the vegetable or onto the soil and hope that the vegetable grow, right, uh, healthy, give you abundant result and all that, then we know that it doesn't work that way, right? So in order for us to grow a vegetable garden, first we have to work the soil, right? Make sure the soil is fertilized, okay? And after that, we have to moisturize it. We have to give it enough water, okay, and when then we put the seed, right? And so we make a vegetable garden. We prepare the soil and all of that, right? There's nothing else. It's just rich soil that we dig and mix it up with fertilizer and all that. and then we put the seed, and or we put the little sprout, and we water it every single day, right? So that's how we grow our vegetable garden. So and that is one part. So once the vegetable, after the vegetable start to take root and grows, right, and we water it day in and day out, right, couple times a day and all that. And as you know, um, just a matter of time, all right. Maybe after a week or so, you will start to see something else growing also, right? So in your vegetable garden, you will see all kinds of little other green things. You don't know where they come from, okay, and they start to grow, okay. And for most of us, we call them weeds, right? The unwanted vegetation that they grow up. So if you don't do anything to that, to those little other things that we did not, grow, that we not put the seed in, and we just water it, okay, and just let it grow by itself. Eventually, the vegetable garden will be run over by the weeds, okay, because the weeds, they can grow very fast, right, as we all know. After, let's say, if we don't do anything, we do not go around pull the weed and all that, maybe after a month top, if you go look at your vegetable garden, you will see that the vegetable that you grow is, they are among the weeds, and a lot of time the weeds outgrow our vegetable, okay. They become very healthy and all that because of the nutrient in the soil, the water that we provide, and they grow uh, amazing, right? So, and even and a lot of time they outgrow vegetable, okay. A lot of time they outgrow our vegetable, or they inhibit our vegetable from growing healthily. If we grow lettuce that is supposed to be, let's say 1.5 or feet or something, if or 2 feet or whatever. Now, if you have weeds growing also, it will outgrow your lettuce, it will outgrow your cabbage or whatnot, and it inhibits its growth. Okay, so you will see that our vegetable do not grow to its potential. It stays, it sort of like become small because it has to fight with the weeds around them. Okay, they fight for sunlight, uh, fight for moisture in the air, or fight for the nutrient in the ground, right? So there's things going on. So the vegetable garden, okay, we have our vegetable, the seed that we have good vegetable. But if we do not take care of that garden, that vegetable row that we have will be run over by the weeds. So that is just nature. Okay, you don't have to grow those weeds, those unwanted, um, natural greeneries that greens that grow. You don't have to plant any of those, and they grow by themselves. So it's similar to our mind. Our mind is, because our mind is also part of nature, right? Nature is giving to us. So within our mind, we have wholesome faculty that is, in our mind, and we also have unwholesome faculties in our mind, right? So the unwholesome one faculty, of course, generate unwholesome thought and unwholesome action, right? And that comes from what we call defile mind, right? The, the different kinds of defilements, of course, there are many different kinds of defilements in our mind. but they all have their origin. They originate from the unwholesome mind faculties, right? The 12 unwholesome mind faculties. There are only 12 unwholesome mind faculties, but they generate all kinds of defilements in our lives. Okay, so all the ingredients are there. It's just that, in every single one of us in our mind, we all have the ingredient. We all have the same ingredients. We all have the same kind of seeds, right? The seeds of our minds are the same. There are 52 kinds of seeds in our mind, right? The that we call the mind faculties or the mind ingredients. In my earlier episode that I have described. Okay, so we have all of that. So as we water our mind grow, right? So our mind is conditioned. Our mind grow depending on condition, right? So it is called conditional mind. So whatever that we experience, that is the condition. Okay, and then what manifests out in our mind, that is the result. Okay, so in another word, our mind is just like the bed of vegetable that we have. Okay, we have good vegetable, and we also have a lot of weeds, unwanted greenery, right, stuff in there, in it. So a mind that is not cultivated, okay, an uncultivated mind, in other words, the mind that's never been taken care of, that is the mind that just grows naturally without any guidance or anything. That mind is just like a vegetable garden that is overrun by weeds, overrun by unwanted, as green stuff that you know that we know, grass or whatnot. Those are the defilements, okay, that that can overtake a good side of our mind. Okay, so it depends on how strong the wholesome mind faculties that we have, or the wholesome mind that we have. Okay, sometimes a wholesome mind can also grow uh, well within the garden, along, okay, along with the weeds, with the grass. Okay, I mean they can grow big also, but at the same time the grass and the weeds also grow big. So you can be a lot of people, normal people. It could be, one day or one time you can have a good person, and the other time you can turn into somebody like a monster in a way, right? So that's what our mind is. It consists of good and bad. Okay, so that's what we call uncultivated mind, the mind that is never been taken care of, the mind that is grown naturally. Okay, the mind that has been grown naturally. So as you can see, the bed of vegetable that we grow, if you let it grow naturally by itself, that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get your vegetable that don't grow healthy, okay, and overgrown by defilements, by the grass and by the weeds. Okay, so that is the reason why we need to cultivate our mind. That is the reason why that farmers and gardeners need to take care of their vegetable gardens, because if they don't take care of their vegetable garden, if they don't plug out the weeds and the grass and all, the unwanted things that grows in their garden, the weeds and the grass will, of course, run over their good vegetable. So the same way, if we can only see the benefit of cultivating our mind, then we would do it, right? It's just that for so many people, people are not aware that our mind is overrun by grass and weeds and unwanted defilements, right? All over the place. We are buried, okay, and we have no clue that if there is a way to take care of that garden, okay. So first of all, we have to recognize, okay, we have to be able to understand that in this garden of mine, okay, there's good vegetable in there. But in order for the good vegetable to grow healthy, okay, we have to cultivate our mind by pulling out the weeds, pulling out the grass, and working on the soil and give it proper nutrients. Okay. So what does that mean? So how do we cultivate our mind? How do we pull out the grass and the weeds and the unwanted material, the unwanted greenery that grows inside our mind garden? Okay. So first of all, we have to be able to understand or to see that this garden of mine can be uh, very can yield very good vegetable. Okay, it can yield very good vegetable, very healthy vegetable. Okay, it's just that we have to cultivate it. See, first of all, we have to be able to understand that the mind can be cleansed, the mind can be cultivated by getting rid of the defilements that we have. Okay, once we get rid of the defilement, okay, uh, plugging out the weeds and the grass and all that, then what is it that we have left? Right, we have left good vegetable. So the mind is the same thing. If we cultivate our mind, we learn how to clean our mind. Okay, we learn how uh, to look at what is unwholesome in our mind, and we pull out the unwholesome one from our mind. Okay, so as we cultivate our mind, that's what we do. We pull out the weeds, we pull out the unwholesome activity, we pull out the unwholesome um, thoughts, the unwholesome action from that originates from the unwholesome ingredients in our mind. What is left? What is left is the beautiful mind, right? It's a beautiful garden. That's what's left. Okay, but we have to be able to see that, right? And of course, to the gardener, I mean, that is what the goal, right? You will have a beautiful lettuce garden, cabbage garden, carrots, celery, or whatnot, and that is beautiful, right? That is the reason that the gardener started out with, to in order to have a good harvest. So for our life, it's the same thing. If we would like to harvest a good life, okay, then we need to learn how to cultivate our mind, to look at this mind. What is the unwholesome things that is bothering us? What is the unwholesome activity that goes on inside our mind? Okay, those are the things. Those are the material, the faculties that we need to pull out. We need to eliminate. Okay, and then once we can eliminate those weeds that is in our mind, then what is left is what's left is the wholesome mind. And with the wholesome mind, we are at peace. We are calm, and we can enjoy life the the right way. Okay, we can enjoy um, what is going on in our life with, and also we enjoy people around us, the environment and everything else. And it is because we have a beautiful wholesome life, a beautiful wholesome mind. Okay, just like the mind of the Buddha or life of the Buddha. After reaching enlightenment, the Buddha becomes the most compassionate, the most loving kindness person, because he has a whole, the utmost wholesome heart, right? The utmost wholesome mind. So of course he he irradiate all kinds of wholesome advice and ideas and all that that help out other people. So that is the life that we would love to have, okay? A life that is peaceful, that is calm, that is serene, okay? Not get lost in the different kinds of uh, chaotic things that is happening in the society. The calm life does not get sway like the tip of the pine tree, or whatever which way the wind blow, it will just blow that way. The calm mind is stable like a mountain rock. Okay, it's steady and it's stable, not shaken. Okay, so that would be a beautiful life. So in order for us to understand to or to know how to cultivate the mind, okay, we need to learn, of course, because the mind is a given nature. So it's not something easy, okay, it's not something simple, but it can be done. um, it can be done, but of course, just like the gardener, it requires our work on a daily basis. Okay, it's called what we call awareness, being aware of this mind all the time, because the weeds can always grow, right? If as you know, as a gardener, you pull all the weed and the grass today. Tomorrow morning, when you get up to water the that row of your vegetable, you will see new shoot of weeds or grass there. Okay, and then of course you go to plug it again. The same thing as our mind. As long as our defilement is there, we be, until you become a fully enlightened individual, then there will always be defilements in the mind, and we have to keep cultivating and keep understanding why the defilements arise, right? And how it does it arise, and what the reason and all that. And that is all covered in the poison, that what is it that poison our mind. See, those poisons are the ingredients that create defilements, right? So what are the poison? What is it that create the suffering in the mind? Those are the things that we need to look at and we need to figure out, right? And as we study and deeper, we go into the attachment and go to the identification of the self I, of course. So as you go into the lesson, so yes, this is one analogy about our mind, or about how do we go about cultivating our mind. And defile minds, you and I, as a lay people, we have to keep practicing. We have to keep analyzing. We have to keep plugging out the weeds. Okay, we have to keep pulling out the unwanted greeneries that is growing in a vegetable garden, in order for a vegetable to grow well, right? To be healthy, in order for a mind, a wholesome mind to grow, right? Instead of unwholesome mental activities. And so we need to look within to see what is wholesome and what is unwholesome. And after we look at it, we look at the lesson, and we look inside and we see, oh, this is wholesome that is growing, that is arising. Oh, this is unwholesome that is arising, right? The fire, okay, inside, okay, there's desire growing, there's lust growing, there's greed, anger, hatred, jealousy, sad, upset, depressed, all that, right? So that's what we learn. Oh, okay. Now, and you become aware as you follow, as you observe your very own emotion, your very own feelings within. Those are the defilements, right? And we keep eradicating them one at a time until our vegetable garden is clean, right? And then we have a healthy garden. Okay, so that's what I like to share with you all today. I hope you get something out of this one. Until next time, I like to pay respect to the triple gems. I like to pay respect to the Buddha. I like to pay respect to the Dharma. And I like to pay respect to the Sangha. Namaste.